and welcome to another episode of Life in Style with Zara. I'm your host, Zara Durrani. Today we're going to be taking a look at food. Food is such an important part of our lives, as well as many cultures and faiths around the world. Our focus for today's episode is going to be on halal and kosher food. We'll be meeting with experts and talk about the health and spiritual benefits of eating halal or kosher. Let's see what they have to say. For today's Culture Crawl, today we have with us Rabbi Shmulik, who's going to be talking to us and educating us on the benefits of eating kosher. Rabbi, how are you doing today?
Good, thank God, I'm very well.
Good to hear that. Now, thank you for joining us. Tell us what makes food kosher.
So definitely not Rabbi's blessing make the food kosher. There's something else and a little bit more complicated for us to say that this food is kosher. So we received 3,323 years ago the Torah that given to us on Sinai, to the Jewish people, and there is basically explicitly tells us exactly what to do in order to make the food kosher. So we come to, first of all, we're not allowed to mix dairy and meat, and that's make it a little bit complicated to those of us who are not vegetarians. So you eat dairy for breakfast, you eat meat for lunch or dinner, or you have your kitchen, you have to make sure that dairy and meat not come into in any contact. And Kabbalah said, meat is red, strength, which we call in Hebrew gevura. Milk, dairy, is chesed, which it means loving kindness, whiteness. Mm-hmm. And basically do not mix chesed and gevura together. It's not good. There are two separate attributes. And we could go much deeper there, but that's the idea. There are two different ideas, dairy and meat, so we better not to mix it.
Now, earlier we were speaking about how eating kosher, that in Judaism, that it's really important to feed the spirit as well as the body. Can you touch some more light on that?
So to make it clear, I mean, the reason why we eat kosher, because this is what's given to us in Sinai. This is written in our Bible, so we follow it. We believe this is God's will. But at the same time, we know the Torah is a lot of wisdom there. So the fact that it's been given to us make me wonder what for me to learn from it. And that leads to, in Kabbalah and Jewish philosophy, there's great discussions about it. And I'll just try to give it to you in a few moments. What we eat becomes who we are. And society today understands that very well. So what you eat becomes you. It becomes part of your blood, become part of the energy, affect your health, affect your mood, and everything else. But in Judaism, there is a great emphasis on the body and the soul. We must keep our body healthy. It's one of the Bible commandments.
Yes.
To keep my body healthy. It's one of the great philosophers, Maimonides, says, this is the gate for everything. Because if your body is not healthy, you cannot function very well. So obviously you got to make sure that your body is healthy. But in order for your body to be healthy, you need to make sure that your soul is also healthy.
So you were mentioning earlier that, because we all know that eating shellfish, can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so I'll tell you in general, okay? For kosher meat to be kosher, I need to have the two signs. And we cannot, no compromises. It has to be two together. And one is split hoof. And number two, you need to make sure the animal chewing their food over and over again.
Regurgitate.
Yeah. And that's the two signs to make the meat kosher, otherwise it's not kosher.
Okay.
For example, pork, God only.
And that's something in Islam as well. So I feel that with Islam and Judaism, there are a lot of similarities when you look at food.
There's lots of similarities.
Like shechita.
Shechita. So it's another, so meat has to be, first of all, you need to verify that the meat is kosher, the animal is kosher, that got the two signs. After you got the two signs, there's a whole process how to bring the meat to your table. So you need to go through the process of shechita, ritual of shechita. You slaughter the animal, it has to be a professional. You got to go to school to study it. It's just not killing the animal. You got to kill the animal with no pain, that basically kills the nerves of the animal, cut the nerves of the animals immediately in one cut. So the animals have no pain and the blood coming out. Because in Jewish law, we're not allowed to drink the blood of the animal.
So it also doesn't affect the taste of the meat as well because there's no fear. And do you do a prayer before you do that?
There's a blessing to
Okay.
make. Yeah. But again, the blessing is not the issue, is how it's done. We need to find a professional that knows how to do it. And we're not allowed to drink the blood. Why we're not allowed to drink the blood? Because the blood is the soul of the animal, the essence of the animal. And animals, with all the respect, are not human. So I don't want any animal I eat, I want to make sure that the animal I eat is an animal with good qualities. And the two signs in Kabbalah represent great values. I'm not getting into it now, but each one of them represent an amazing value. So when I eat an animal, they become part of me. That's become my blood. That's energized me for the rest of the day. So I want to make sure that the energy I get from the food that I eat is not only I'm eating to get pleasure, to enjoy myself, I'm eating in order to serve, to be able to be energized to do my purpose in life, and my soul to be up to it as well, to be healthy as well. So I eat food only that affect me positively, not only on a physical level, also on a spiritual level.
So right now we're here with head chef Susy Siegel, who is an expert kosher chef. Susy, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
So thank you for inviting us into your beautiful kitchen over here. You've got salmon, we have salad over here. So you're going to be feeding everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell us about kosher food. We were talking to Rabbi Shmulik, and he educated us a little bit about the importance of eating kosher and, the importance of feeding the soul as well as the body. So now let's talk to you and your thoughts on that.
Okay, well, we observe all the dietary kosher laws in the kitchen. Mostly, the most important one I would say is that we do not mix any meat and dairy.
Okay.
It comes from a biblical tradition. So you can eat on the same day dairy products or meat products, but you have to wait a certain amount of time between them. So to make, I guess, a little easier today,
can you tell us what is the amount of time? Is it something that is specified?
If you eat dairy, you can wait about an hour before you eat meat.
Okay.
When you eat meat, you have to wait about 6 hours.
Okay.
But really, every person is different.
Okay.
But something like that.
I remember growing up, I think maybe my grandmother may have said, I'm not sure if this is in the Quran or part of the Hadith or not, but not in Islam, not drinking milk with fish. So I remember that's what, as growing up, I was not allowed to drink milk with fish, something. Is there a specific reason health-wise? Like, is there a health risk? Or?
No, not really. It is a biblical tradition. It says so in the Bible that we will not eat mixed dairy with meat, but not fish. Fish is not considered meat.
Okay.
It's sort of a neutral ingredient. So.
Okay. And you were mentioning about a specific process of cleaning vegetables before, cleaning them in the kosher way. Tell our viewers about that.
That's right. Any leafy vegetable or vegetable that has tiny holes, like an asparagus. Yes, well,
Okay.
We have to wash them with a lot of salt.
Okay.
So we would put a container, fill it with water and a lot of salt, and any insect or living creature that lives in there will die. Those things are not kosher, so we're not allowed to eat those particular insects, and that's how we make sure that they're not in there.
Okay, so what are we going to be doing here today? What is this? This looks like pear.
That's mashed potatoes.
Okay.
We like to serve them as a side dish,
Okay.
and it's just mashed potatoes flavored, and then we put some panko crumbs and egg. We fry them.
Okay. Now, is this a specific Jewish food or something that you do when you're celebrating, or something you just love to cook?
We just love to cook potatoes. Jewish food is anything, as long as you don't mix the meat and the dairy, and that your products are washed properly and supervised the way you cook them. Everything really can be kosher. If there are only two items that we don't eat, we are forbidden: pork and shellfish.
Okay.
We don't touch that.
I know pork for me too, so
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I'll be happy in this kitchen. I'll be making
Absolutely.
sure there's no pork in here. Good.
Okay.
So what are we going to be cooking today? Salmon.
Sure, we'll be cooking salmon. As you can see, we leave the skin on because we eat the fish that has scales.
Okay.
So in order to assure that that's the case, we prefer that we don't prefer. We actually ask that they sell us the fish with the skin. Then we can make sure that that's the fish we want.
Yeah, the rabbi was saying something about, the longer the fins and the scales, it specifies ambition and loving kindness.
Okay, well, sure, that's why he's a rabbi. I'll just cook the fish.
Okay, is there a specific process of cooking this that would make it kosher, or?
No, it's just clean, it has the skin, and then we can add whatever we want to it.
Before I start eating any meal, I always say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which means in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Is there any favorite prayer that you have, or in Jewish culture that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, sure. Actually, before you eat any meal, you say a prayer. For instance, before you eat something with bread, you say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Okay. Can you give us a loose translation of that in terms of what it means?
You say you thank God, the Almighty, for giving you the blessing of the meal.
Okay, and that is a specific prayer that you say for eating bread, or is there specific?
Yeah, that is for bread or grains.
So suppose if we're going to eat fish today, what is going to be prayer for that?
You would say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bore minei mezonot, I believe that is.
Okay.
There's so many prayers, but yeah.
So specific to each food. Now, question for you: do you get a lot of non-Jewish folks coming here and enjoying kosher food?
Oh yes, yeah. The membership at the JCC is, not all Jewish, of course. So we get a lot of people at the cafe. Kosher food is just food, Other than the fact that we don't cook with certain ingredients, everything else is the same.
Okay, so no shellfish, no pork.
That's right.
And clean the vegetables with salt water. I think I'm going to start doing that because that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get cooking over here. So tell me, are there any specific dishes that you prepare for special occasions like Passover, or any dietary restrictions that on certain days you can eat this and not?
Well, during Passover, we don't eat anything with flour except for the matzah flour. You've seen those crackers. Any product that has any leavening agent is not allowed during Passover. Some people also choose not to eat other things, but mostly it's the bread. So for 10 days we don't eat anything with bread.
Oh wow.
But we create everything. We make cakes, you can even make bread with flours that do not contain any.
It's almost like going on a diet. No bread, no wheat.
Right,
Okay,
right.
I should be on that. Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing what the fish is going to look like afterwards.
Sure.
And I'm going to dig into this.
Okay.
Thank you, Susy.
No problem. My pleasure.